I have such a hard time finding people and making those connections, and it takes me so long just to, make a friend or get into a relationship. It's like I don't want to risk letting those people go because I don't know if and when I will meet other people. Because I'm sorry, when you're an adult, it is very, very difficult trying to make friends. Now that I'm an adult and I don't have college to lean on anymore, how in the world am I going to make friends now? I like friendships that are just very involved. Like, I like to talk to my friends. I like to talk like almost every single day if we can. I like to hang out often. I like to discuss things that are happening in my life, things that are happening in their lives. I just like to have that constant interaction, I guess. Seems like everybody I meet is a low maintenance friend. I've been seeing all these TikToks, all these tweets about people talking about being low maintenance friends and how they only talk to their friends like once a month, and they just put very, very little energy into their friendships. And it's like, but everybody I know is like that. Everybody is so low maintenance. Because people will say like, oh, some people will find their match when they're 50. That's great for them. That's beautiful for them. But I don't want that to be me. I'm sorry. I don't want to wait until I'm 40, 50 years old to find the person that I'm supposed to be with. That is such a long time to be single. People try to force, you know, enjoy being single, enjoy being by yourself. No. Hey everyone, it's Brie. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video, and we're back with another TikTok reaction called Destroy This Limiting Belief. Now, I listened to like the first couple seconds of it. I'm like, okay, this would be a kind of cool video to talk about on the channel, where basically she's talking about this idea that when you're in your 20s and 30s, that your belief system is limited and you tend to only think of now and not what you could potentially have in the future. And so I'm actually curious to hear her talk about this topic. So yeah, let's hop right into the video.
Okay, I literally do not know why so many people have this limiting belief, but if you are like 20 something or 30 something, you have this weird sneaky hidden belief that like you've already met all the possible people that you will ever fall in love with or that you will ever be friends with, have a deep connection with. And I really don't know where this comes from, because let's just like consider the math, okay? Like if you are gonna live to be 80 something, 90 something, then you have like way more time ahead of you than behind you, and opportunities to meet more people and have a connection with them.
That is true. I'll just speak for me. The reason why, because again, this goes into my whole fear and my issues that I have with like not being able to let people go. I think it's just the fact that like again, everybody's journey in life is different, right? And for me, because I meet a lot of people that they don't quite understand, or they just had a different experience growing up. For me in particular, I didn't have an issue with meeting people, but I did have an issue with making connections with people. I had issue or making close connections with people. Like I had a really hard time like making friends, and even with like dating, like guys didn't even really look in my direction until I got to college. And even then it was like very, very scarce. um and so for me it's like, because I have such a hard time finding people and making those connections, and it takes me so long just to, make a friend or get into a relationship. It's like I don't want to risk letting those people go because I don't know if and when I will meet other people. Or even this idea of like, oh, like there's better out there. It's like, I don't know, it is hard for me because again, it's like, even with the whole like best friend thing, right? Like having a best friend is something that I have wanted since I was literally in kindergarten. But it's something that I just felt like I had never really had up until recently. And it's like, for me to let that person go after I've pretty much spent my entire life looking for a friendship like that, it's really hard because it's like, look how long it took for me to get them in my life. the likelihood of that happening again is very slim. Now, some people, like, they make friends very, very easily. Like, they can drop them and, like, they can drop friends and pick up more friends like it's nothing. I don't have that luck. And so when I do finally find some solid people in my life, I do actively try to hold on to them for dear life, because again, with everybody else, it's very just like surface level. Like, I have a lot of acquaintances, and it's like I don't need more acquaintances. Like, I've not to say that I don't want to meet people, but there's no guarantee that every person that you meet is going to be your friend, and there's no guarantee that every guy that you meet that you like is going to end up being the one. And so it's like I don't want to live life like, oh, there will be another one, because that's not always the case, and it doesn't always come as easy for some people as it does for others. But I understand what she's saying. Like, we do have an entire lifetime, and so if the people that you've met thus far aren't, you know, serving a purpose in your life, there are more people to meet in the next 20 to 30 years. I do understand that.
And now that you've actually just,
but also too, because people will say, like, because I've had this epiphany recently where it's like I really do want some more friends, but I don't know how I'm going to make that happen. Because I'm sorry, when you're an adult, it is very, very difficult trying to make friends. It is. And because it's easy when you're in grade school, because you have classes together, you have lunch, you have recess, you have you have so many opportunities. You're in a way, you're kind of forced into an environment where you kind of have to make friends. Like, you're going to mesh with somebody at some point when you have all these classes and you're spending all day with these people. But when you get to college, when you become an adult, it's much more difficult, and you are having to really, like, put yourself out there more. But also, not everyone that you meet in college is going to be solid or is going to last past a semester. And so I've been having this realization of, like, okay, now that I'm an adult and I don't have college to lean on anymore, how in the world am I going to make friends now? And, my mom always says, like, oh, you'll make friends through work. Like, that's how she's met a lot of her friends, was through work. But now people are coming on social media saying, no, don't befriend your coworkers, because your coworkers can be shady and they don't always have your best interests, and, tell them very limited things. Like now people are even saying, like, don't mess with people at work. And so it's like, again, how how do you make friends post grad? That's why it's like, for me to sit here and be like, okay, I'm just gonna get rid of all my friends from college, I'm not gonna have nobody left. And it's like, I already don't, because people will say too, like, oh, if the people that are in your lives right now, if you don't feel like they're really truly being a friend, then you shouldn't have them around. But it's also like, but they're all I got. So it's like, not to say that I should just accept the bare minimum, but it's like, if I'm already struggling to make friends as it is, it's kind of hard to let those people go and just expect some new friends to just fall into my lap, because that's just not how life works.
discovered like who you are, you've already gone through that process of realizing who you're not. Now you're like more apt to actually attract the right people, because the people that you met on the playground, like, you didn't choose them. Like, they were just there, right? And
That's
then you
true.
decided like you had something in common and now you're friends with them. But like, those are like not even your soul people. Like, you are going to find soul contracts with people that you literally cannot physically imagine yet. And I've been like really experimenting with this just in my own life and blowing my own mind, because this year alone, I have met people who have literally changed the trajectory of my life that I physically could not imagine in my brain a year ago. Like, I didn't know that they were human beings on earth, and now they mean so much to me. And it's really helped me realize that, like, oh, like, this is just the beginning of all the connections I'm ever going to make. And so, like, if you're someone who's getting really fixated right now on, like, a friendship that's, like, not working out, or a romantic partnership, it's like, that's okay. You're barely, like, knee deep in the water of all the friendships that you're going to create. And so if you knew this to be true, because it is, how would you approach meeting new people and, like, doing new things?
Okay, so before she gets into that, and I hear her on that, right? And I like how, she said that, the more you grow and the more that you become aware of certain things, the more you'll finally start to attract the people that you want in your life. And, I'm going to receive that. I'm gonna receive that. I hope so. Because again, I talk about this with people all the time. I feel like I attract, and I'm not, because I don't. Okay, I'm not saying, okay, to anybody watching, I'm not saying that the people that are currently in my life are horrible, awful people. I'm not saying that. I'm just speaking in general. I'm speaking about my general experience with like making friends and stuff like that. I feel like I have a tendency to attract. I tend to attract the wrong people. I'll just put it that way. I tend to attract the wrong people. I tend to attract people that just don't have any of the qualities that I am looking for in a friend. That doesn't make them a bad person. That doesn't make them, like, that's not a knock to them or who they are. But the type of friendships that I want, for some reason, I just cannot find people that are on the same, like, wavelength as me. It's like, because for me, right, I like friendships that are just very involved. Like, I like to talk to my friends. I like to talk like almost every single day if we can. I like to hang out often. I like to discuss things that are happening in my life, things that are happening in their lives. I just like to have that, like, that constant interaction, I guess. And I just like that. I like for people to be excited to like talk to me and hang out with me. Like, I just like that aspect of it. But I often attract people that are the complete opposite. It seems like every single person that I attract, it's like they suck at texting, and they don't ever feel like talking, or they're never available to talk. They're always too busy to talk to me, but then they're not busy when it comes to other people. Or people who like don't like birthdays. Like, I've had friends in the past that, because they don't celebrate their own birthdays, they also put that on other people. So then when my birthday comes around, they don't show any interest in my birthday. They don't even say happy birthday, and their excuse is always just, oh, I don't mess with birthdays like that. And it's like, I want more people that have the same energy that I have. Someone that wakes up and is like, okay, I'm going to text Bree immediately, or I'm going to send Bree this or that. Like, I just want more people that are like that. Or like, when again, like, when it's other people's birthdays, I'm sitting there, I'm putting thought into like gifts and paragraphs and all that. I want someone to do that for me. I want someone to be like, you know what, Bree's been a really good person to me. She's been a really good friend. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell her how much she means to me as a friend, and I'm going to go all out. Like, I just want that. Like, I just really want that energy from more and more people. But it seems like everybody I meet is a low maintenance friend. I've been seeing all these TikToks, all these tweets about people talking about being low maintenance friends and how they only talk to their friends like once a month, and they just put very, very little energy into their friendships. And it's like, but everybody I know is like that. Everybody is so low maintenance. And it's like, I don't even like to say high maintenance, because that has like a negative connotation to it. But like, I just want to attract more people that are just as intentional, just as giving, and just is on the same, like, has the same like energy as I do when it comes to friendships, and will prioritize me just as much as I prioritize them. Like, I just want the reciprocation from people. But I just feel like no one really is like that anymore, and it's just really hard to find people that are like that, because people just don't want to put in the energy, or maybe y'all just don't vibe in that way, and so they just don't see you as that type of person. But that's why I even said in my other video, it's like, I just want to be someone's favorite person. Like, I just want someone to look at me in that way, and it's like, when it's my birthday, it's like, okay, I gotta get her something. Or if I'm feeling low or I'm feeling down, like, they make it their mission to be there and to make me feel better. Because that's what I do. Like, if I have a friend that's sad and that's going through something, I will go above and beyond to the best of my ability to be there and to help them and to make them feel better. But with me, it's like, oh, well, I don't really know what to say, or, I don't really know what to do, and so I'm just not going to do anything at all. And it's like, I don't know, I just want that effort to be there. And people nowadays don't put in that effort. And so, but I hear what she's saying. And hopefully, as I do get older and as I meet people, I don't know how, outside of work environments, but as I start to meet more and more people, hopefully I will find more people that are kind of on that same energy that I'm on.
Things like every time before I travel or do a new thing, I'm like so fucking excited at the prospect that I'm literally about to meet someone who could totally change my life. Like, I have met people, like I said, in the past few, literally in the past few months, that like I didn't know that like my heart could expand to include them in my life. I really thought like I've already met all the people I'm gonna meet, which is so fucking limiting. Like, dumb. Like, how could I have thought that? How could I have thought that at 20 something years old, like, I'm done meeting all the people. Like, this is it. This is who I have to make it work with.
I mean, yeah, and she's not wrong. Again, I just think it's just like where we're at in life. Like, I think I'll be a little bit more hopeful if our generation just didn't suck. And I know I'm not the only one. I've seen plenty of TikToks of people my age, of people that are literally 22, 23, talking about how our generation sucks when it comes to friendships, relationships, just everything. And so again, for me, it's like I'm just not that hopeful, because I even see people in their 30s talking about how hard it is to make friends, how hard it is to, find love, and find a partner. Like, it's just so hard to find solid people out here, that it's just like when you find someone that's like, at least a little bit of what you want, I feel like there is that pressure there to try and like keep that, because it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna find better than this. And I know that's not the most like, optimistic way of thinking, but that's just kind of how it is. Now, I have made it a point to not hold on to things that, like if I'm in a friendship or a relationship that I feel like is negative, or that I feel like is, not making me feel good, then, I do make it a point to kind of like, not engage with that person, not interact with that person as much. I don't necessarily like go as far as to cut people off, but I do create distance when I feel that, people aren't really being supportive, and, being that friend or that significant other that I feel like I need. And so, I don't think that you should just hold on to people just because, but I do understand why people do it. And I'm someone that has done that before, and I've held on to people that maybe I shouldn't have held on to. And looking back, I can kind of peep like, okay, like, they may have had these red flags and, X, Y, and Z. But again, my loyalty sometimes is more of to my detriment than a benefit. But yeah.
And I'm saying this because I have clients who feel really distressed thinking about how maybe some of their friendships haven't been filling them up in a certain way. Maybe they haven't met that romantic partner. And I'm like, that literally means nothing. Like, you have this much time ahead of you. There's like this much time behind you since you've known who you are. So just imagine if I believed that I had this much time ahead of me, which I do, how would I approach friendships and relationships?
I mean, yeah, again, she's not wrong. Like, I think, and honestly, I really like this video, and it does put things into perspective that you do have a whole life to live. And people, but that's the thing too. People will say you have your whole life to live, but then also say life is short. And again, for me, because it takes me such a long time to find some solid folks, it's like I don't want to keep doing the whole thing. And also too, you don't want to be quick to cut somebody off just because of like one little thing, or whatever the case may be. Like, let's say you do have a friend that maybe isn't as interactive with you as they normally are. It might be because they're going through stuff. It may not have anything to do with you. And so it's like, I don't want to cut somebody off when they're going through some rough times just because it's affecting, the friendship. And so, you have to be careful there. But also too, it's like, yes, I have my whole life to live, but it is a scary thought to think, okay, like when am I going to meet new people, or when or not when I'm going to meet new people, because you meet new people every day, but when am I going to find like the next group of friends that I can connect to and that I can have a solid friendship with? When is the next time I'm going to find a guy that I could be in a happy, loving relationship with. Like, when is the next time? Like, you don't know how long it's going to be before that happens. And again, for me, as someone that does suffer with feeling lonely a lot, it's like, yes, like there may be another one that comes, but what if that takes like 10 years? Like, I don't want to be alone and single for the next 10 years. Like, even just that thought is like, no. And I know there's nothing wrong with it. And again, my 20s are for me, and all of that. But it's like, I don't want there to be another like large gap in my life where I'm like alone and I feel alone, and I'm like really just wanting those close bonds with people. It's like, I feel like that's something that I've been wanting my whole life, and so I just want that. I don't want to wait until I'm 35, 40 to. And that's the thing too with like dating, right? It's like, because people will say like, oh, some people will find their match when they're 50. That's great for them. That's beautiful for them. But I don't want that to be me. I'm sorry. I don't want to wait until I'm 40, 50 years old to find the person that I'm supposed to be with. That is such a long time to be single. And people try to force, enjoy being single, enjoy being by yourself. No. I mean, it's something that I'm kind of like content with, and that I'm kind of just, I've become comfortable with. But no, I don't like it. And I don't want that to be my scenario for the next 10 to 20 years. And it's just like, I just don't want to spend most of my life being alone and seeking these friendships and relationships with people. I know we have a whole life to live, but there's also no way to know, if and when you'll find, more or better people. And so that is really scary for a lot of us. And I understand what she's saying. Like, don't get caught up in that. And don't let that be the reason why you hang on to people that are not serving you in your life, because you think you might not find better. But that is a genuine fear that a lot of people have, and it's something that I struggle with as well. But anyway, I actually did enjoy this video. And hopefully you guys took something from this as well. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below what you guys think about this whole theory about limiting beliefs when you're in your early 20s and 30s. Let me know in the comments down below. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.